Grant Hill and Crawford Palmer join him up front with Bobby Hurley and Thomas Hill in the backcourt. Virginia returning 96% of its points and 91% of its rebounds from a year ago with that identical starting lineup a year ago.
And again, the main thing that you want to look for there is Virginia is rather smallish in comparison to the Duke Blue Devils. And when you are rather small, you've got to block out very well. Virginia has to be sure that they don't let Duke get second and third opportunities. And then another thing we might point out as we see Mike Krzyzewski on the Duke bench is Virginia is not really very deep. They go about 7 guys deep. There's Jeff Jones. He's got to be concerned with that. Lots of times when a small team goes against a bigger team, that smaller team is susceptible to foul problems.
The series record weighted heavily in Duke's favor, and last year on this floor, the Cavaliers won to snap that 16-game Duke winning streak in this series. Veteran ACC officials today working his 21st season of ACC basketball. Lenny Wirtz tosses it up. He's working with John Moreau and Larry Rose, and the Cavaliers win the opening tip, and quickly it goes into Kenny Turner. And he puts Virginia on top.
Just like we said, they got a small team. They'll have a tough time operating inside. Kenny Turner, good catch against double team by Leitner, and Palmer sticks it in the basket anyway. Virginia starts man-to-man.
Thomas Hill draws Anthony Oliver out front. And the point guard matchup of Hurley and John Cronin.
Kenny Turner playing man-to-man against Christian Leitner. Virginia's got to be able to drop down and give some help in there. Good pressure on the perimeter. Excellent job.
The shot clock at 15 seconds as Duke resets. Lob into Leitner. There's the weak side help from Jeffries, but Leitner puts it in anyway.
Leitner's just having a great season. Virginia really couldn't have played it much better than that.
Oliver in transition. What a feed. Grant Hill is fouled by Jeffries.
Virginia would really like to get the ball down and play in transition, and they tried to that time, but the downside of that is if you're trying to play in transition and you miss, Duke is such a good rebounding team that plays in the transition well itself, you're at a disadvantage on the defensive end. And with a guy like Grant Hill so smooth for a freshman, you can be in big trouble if he's operating 2-on-1.
Blue Devils was an impressive road win at Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago. Starting the ACC season on the road, it wouldn't fall for Grant Hill, but he gets it back. Feeds inside. Great fake by Palmer. Turner the rebound.
That's a very interesting matchup. Brian Stibbs matched up against Grant Hill.
And that matchup working at the other end of the floor as well. Crotty and Hurley out front. Here's Oliver. Knuckleball that one in, but scored. 4-2 Cavaliers.
Oliver comes in the ball game shooting 48%. Had an open jumper that time.
Leitner around Turner. He's got all 4 of Duke's points.
Turner's got to be in better position than that. He was in bad position, and it was a good idea to not foul on that particular play, but he's got to move his feet, get in better position against Leitner. Of course, man-to-man for Duke.
Jeffries. Leitner there to grab it.
Duke really likes to push the ball up the court.
Leitner travels. He thought about a three-pointer. He's hit 7 of them this year.
And 7 ranks him number 2 on the Duke Blue Devils in terms of three-pointers made. That kid right there, not only averaging over 20 points a game, over 10 rebounds a game, second in three-point shots made, first in field goal percentage. He leads Duke in steals.
Even at 4. Big quickness advantage against Palmer, and he takes it right to the bucket.
Virginia operating very effectively in a passing game kind of offensive set. They're going to create some mismatches like that, and they've got to be able to take advantage, and Oliver did that time, just beating Palmer to the baseline.
Grant Hill in the paint, missing. Jeffries clears. Leitner takes an elbow in the shoulder, and here comes Virginia. Ronnie outside. Brian Stiff short. Tip no. Rebound to Thomas Hill. Duke trailing 6-4. Leitner across to Palmer.
Boy, Duke has missed some easy shots early in the basketball game. Palmer, that's 2 layups now that he hasn't been able to convert.
Thomas Hill knocks it out of bounds. A change for Duke University, and Antonio Lang has come into the Duke lineup, and Christian Leitner will get a breather.
Leitner got popped in the mouth there.
Roddy. Up and back. Grant Hill claims the rebound, averaging nearly 6 boards per game in his rookie season.
This is a tough defensive assignment for Brian Stiff because Grant Hill can play any position on the court, including point guard. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Stiff defensively. Here, Jeffrey's going to get called for the foul trying to fight around Palmer.
Stiff picks up his second.
These two teams typically really get after one another, and there's an awful lot of activity, particularly on the inside. Here, Palmer making a real big target there. Jeffries tries to get around that elbow, not able to do it. Gets called for holding on around the midsection.
Virginia's man for all seasons, Matt Blunden, has come into the game. Hurley follows his own miss.
Boy, that's a bad play by Crotty, and Oliver bails him out. Crotty didn't block out. Virginia's going to get a layup anyhow. Great steal by Oliver.
8-4 Cavaliers. Leitner has been the only man that scored for Duke, and he's on the bench.
Well, he's back in now. Going against Blunden. Good defense by Blunden.
Here's Stiff. Inside Turner. Back out Blunden. Controls it.
Well, he usually throws it. He doesn't catch it.
Anthony Oliver. His first three-pointer of the season. 7-0 Virginia run, and the Cavaliers lead 11-4.
Virginia's played very effectively on the defensive end of the court. They've really limited the opportunities that Duke's been able to get.
And Hurley throws it away.
Once again, Virginia doing a nice job in Crotty, keeping some pressure on the ball. And when you keep pressure on the ball, that makes that kind of pass very difficult. Crotty not reading the defense, throwing it out of bounds.
A timeout on the floor in Charlottesville. 15-18 left in the first half. It's Virginia 11 and Duke 4. We'll be back in a moment.
Virginia starting out well early, jumping to an 11-4 lead. Done it with the strength of their defense. Matt Blunden with good position against Leitner. Virginia able to come up with the steal. That's 4 Duke turnovers now. Virginia has yet to turn the ball over against the Duke pressure.
Usually it's the other way around when you play Duke. It's the Blue Devils forcing the turnovers. Matt Blunden.
Just another example of Virginia taking advantage of what Duke is giving them. Grant Hill went for the steal. Brian Stiff was able to catch the ball, then penetrates to the basket, finds Blunden open. Virginia getting very easy open shots, which is surprising against the Duke Blue Devils.
Cavaliers on a 9-point run. They lead at 13-4. Trying to find some answers this time down the floor. Thomas Hill.
Virginia's working so effectively with defensive position. Hurley really needs to do this right here. Penetrate to the basket and get the defense out of position, but even Virginia handles that well.
Brian Stiff draws Grant Hill. Takes him into the free throw lane and missed the shot.
Stiff sort of lost control of the basketball on the dribble. But one of the things that Duke might want to take a look at is trying some penetration off the dribble to force the defense to rotate toward the basketball.
Leitner. Missing. Rebound Virginia.
3-on-2.
Right in the middle. Oliver.
Oliver shooting the ball with a great deal of confidence early in the basketball game.
And the Cavalier faithful are loving it.
Bob, is it just me? I don't detect very much intensity on the Duke end of the court, particularly on the defensive end. They're not really working very hard on offense. That intensity just doesn't seem to be there defensively. There's Hill drawing the foul on Oliver.
First on Anthony. In fact, the way the game was going, Dan, I got the feeling that Mike just used one of his 3 precious timeouts to even regroup at this early stage of the game.
The Blue Devils look very tentative. Jeff Jones has to be very pleased with the way his team is played.
15-4 Virginia and 13:39 remaining in the first half. Ryan Davis is getting along with Ken McCaffrey for Duke. And now now we've got Brian Stiff picking up a personal foul.
I think the foul's actually going to be against Jeffries. He got matched up against Leitner out high. And that's really an excellent point of attack for Duke. They spread the floor very wide. They let Leitner in the middle. Leitner's much quicker on the dribble than most guys his size. And here Jeffrey just cannot stay with him. You see how widely spread out the floor is right there. Leitner doesn't have any trouble getting to the basket and drawing the foul. That's a good move by Mike Krzyzewski to spread that defense out and let Leitner attack Jeffries one-on-one.
Puts Ted on the bench with his third foul, and Leitner has scored all 7 points for the Duke Blue Devils. 15-7, Virginia leading. Stiff goes to the bucket. Followed by Rosenberg. Good.
Grant Hill got the block. Good defense by Duke in the transition.
Grant Hill travels. Tried to fake the big guy and go baseline. And the travel on Grant gives it back to Virginia.
Boy, Mike Krzyzewski's got to be shaking his head on that one. Virginia was still trying to get organized defensively. Duke had the opportunity to take it in there. He'll walk. That's now 6 turnovers by the Blue Devils.
And Virginia with none.
Virginia to this point hasn't had any problems running the offense at all.
Wild look. On the break. And that's going to be a blocking foul on UVA.
And that foul's against Brian Stiff. One of the things, if you're having a tough time playing against the set defense, try to get out and run in transition. Duke does it very effectively. Stiff sort of continues to slide on by there, never really establishes position. That's a pretty good call. It's amazing how all this fits together, Bob. The reason that Duke was not able to get any transition baskets is because Virginia was operating so effectively on offense. And even if you miss, if you take good shots, you're in position to get back well on defense. Duke is able to get out on the break when Blunden takes rather an ill-advised shot. That puts a lot of pressure on you when you have to get back in transition.
Ryan Davis, a much improved free throw shooter, up to 73% this year, averaging 7 points per game. He hits another, and the Virginia lead stands at 6.
And Duke has rattled off 5 in a row.
And here's a bad pass. Virginia's first turnover of the game against the press. Went off the fingertips of Cornell Parker.
A little too high. Parker had to be about 6'10" to get that in.
15-9 Virginia. McCaffrey runs off a double screen, puts up the baseline shot, and we've got a foul on Parker. Hit him on the arm. A reminder, fans, be sure to look for details at Diet Pepsi displays for a chance to win ACC tournament tickets, U.S. Air tickets, or other great prizes from your friends at Pepsi.
Duke Blue Devils doing what they do so well, and that is attacking offensively, getting to the free throw line. It's amazing the number of times that they're able to go to the line.
The Blue Devils average 32 free throw attempts per game. And McCaffrey, Mr. Automatic, he's hit 31 of 32 this season, and now 22 in a row. 15-10 Virginia. And Bill puts it in again.
You know, when a guy's shooting that well, they ought to take the free throw away if he, like, scratches the rim or something.
Duke has come back to score 7 straight, trailed by 4. Kenny Turner, way short.
Boy. Duke switched up the defense a little bit. They go with some full court pressure. Virginia hasn't really played well in the transition. They've had 3 consecutive 2-on-1 fast break situations and have not been able to convert.
Grant Hill, 3-pointer. Kenny Turner, the team's leading rebounder so far this season. Turner for 3. Stiff the offensive rebound, something he does so well. Tipped by Turner, no. London comes away with it. Inside Turner. Outside the John Crotty Cavaliers reset. Three-pointer. Grant Hill leads the Duke attack.
Boy, did they get out quickly on the break.
And McCaffrey tied up by Crotty. And these Virginia fans are really screaming about the officiating. That is the 7th foul against Virginia, none against Duke.
And the Virginia fouls have come all at once, Bob. There's this game, in the first few minutes of the game, there wasn't any fouls called on anybody, but Duke has been able to draw some fouls by being able to get the ball out and attack in transition.
Leitner back in along with Greg Kubek, number 22 for Duke.
This is the other thing that we mentioned about the Duke Blue Devils. Mike Krzyzewski has the luxury of a great deal of quality depth on the bench. He can play a lot of guys and does.
Well, the Blue Devils move into the 1-1. 17 fouls against Virginia. And McCaffrey scores his third point.
Duke's now scored 8 in a row. They're behind 15-4.
And 5 of the points, Dan, have been at the free throw line. 6 of the points. Leitner had a free throw as well mixed in. McCaffrey hits another one, and we've got a timeout on the floor. So the charity stripe being kind to the Blue Devils here. 11:39 left in the first half, and the Virginia lead stands at
2. You know when it's right. You know when you feel it, baby. You hold it, you hear it, you taste it, it's right. You got the right one, baby. Lovable, unsurpassably quotable, and intimately soulful. You got the right one, baby.
With 100% NutraSweet.
15-13 is our score, with Virginia leading Duke by 2. Be sure to stay tuned at halftime for the Norwegian Cruise Lines Trivia Contest. You could win a great cruise for 2. Cruising far from the minds of Duke and Virginia. They are ready for ACC warfare. The 4-4 tie in the first 2 minutes. Then Virginia, Dan, went on an 11-0 run. Now Duke in the last 2:19 has outscored Virginia 9-0 to get right back into the game.
A couple of key things going on in this basketball game. Brian Stith has yet to score. Stith coming in the ball game, averaging almost 22 points a game. Duke has really put the clamps on him. He's out of the ball game right now. In fact, Brian Oliver has 9 points. He's been the offense. Anthony Oliver. Brian Oliver's
fond memory. Here's Turner. Now to Crotty. They swing it. Here's Mr. Oliver. Now to Crotty. Gets around Hurley and backs it out.
Now Virginia scored to break their ground, but Duke played much better on the defensive end of the court that time. Virginia working pretty hard for that basket, and if you're Virginia, that's what you have to expect to have to do against Duke.
Crotty just shoved Leitner toward the basket, hit the pass, and got fouled by London. Crotty helped to get Christian pretty good position that time.
Crotty's trying to fight through the screen. Leitner's going to set the screen. Crotty's trying to get around. One could say that Leitner possibly was setting an illegal screen right there.
What, just because it's
just because it kept moving? Yeah, maybe.
Christian will go to the line for 2 shots.
Leitner was trying to screen and then roll to the basket, and Crotty just got caught behind him. Leitner was not intending to screen him off.
8 points for Leitner, and the Blue Devils remain perfect at the foul line, 8 for 8.
Duke comes in shooting less than 70% as a team, but of course this guy and McCaffrey who's been shooting all the free throws.
Leitner led the ACC in foul shooting last year, 83% this year. This is that one, and it's a 17-14 Virginia lead. Matt London looking for Crotty, off his hands, Duke basketball.
That's a very, very tough pass to throw. Duke in pretty good defensive position. That's just a very hard pass to complete. Virginia threw it away. Virginia stays in the man-to-man defense. London matched up against Leitner. London really working hard.
Trying to stay in front of Christian. In it goes, and the big Hunt advantage made that play happen. Leitner out of bounds, Duke ball. Well, they had 3 white shirts around him, and Leitner just jumps up and grabs it.
Able to throw the ball over the top. One reason is, look how much time they have to find Leitner out there. That's the key. If you've got a guy like Leitner and the people throwing the ball into him have time to look, they can complete that pass. Leitner scored. Got to get more pressure on the basketball so McCaffrey doesn't have that much time to spot Leitner inside and throw it to him.
A 17-16 Virginia lead. Oliver left alone. Missed it. And co-captain Greg Kuback with the rebound. Duke recapture the lead. And they go to Leitner, but it's going to be a travel.
Once again, Hurley with a lot of opportunity to stand out there, just guns that pass to Leitner. Now, but on the other hand, by playing off Hurley like that and McCaffrey, you cut down on the penetration. And so it's sort of a rock and a hard place situation. It's the devil in the deep blue sea, if you will. If you play them close, they go around, and then they get opportunities. If you play off, they're able to lob it over top to Leitner. That's why we're here and not coaching. We don't have to make that decision.
Thank goodness. Ryan Davis, and you hear the crowd erupt. That's the first foul called on Duke today.
Kuback really doesn't get up in pressure, trying to throw it over the top. Davis is hanging on to him. See, Davis trying to front Stith, down inside. Davis pushing. There's that hand. The left hand grabbing on as Stith gets the ball.
Palmer and the Hills are back in for Duke. Here's Stith, knocked away by Thomas Hill. And Anthony Oliver recovers. Crotty goes around Palmer, shoots over Hill, misses. Crawford the rebound.
Crotty really had to take a high arc on that shot right there.
Virginia pushing it ahead. John to the bucket. And the personal foul on Duke.
Crotty really hasn't been able to get to the basket that much in this ball game. Able to take it all the way that time, draw the foul against Grant Hill. Crotty will fool you in that transition. You look at Crotty and you see a guy who doesn't really have a great deal of quickness, but he handles the ball very well in transition.
Crotty last year at Duke bumped up a career-high 30 as Virginia rallied to make it close at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And that game was highlighted by Crotty's ability to hit the three-point shot. He nailed 4 out of 7 at Duke last year. Crotty has hit 21 three-pointers to lead the Cavaliers this season. 19-16.
Virginia now with some full court pressure. See, that's a tougher matchup for Leitner. Before he was matched up against Jeffries, now matched up against the quicker Turner, and a turnover results.
11 points for Anthony Oliver off the steal, 21-16, and now McCaffrey, he watches that one go off his leg. Virginia ball.
Boy, that's good quick hands by Kenny Turner. Hurley trying to dribble out of the double team. Nice job by Turner to flick that hand in there without committing the foul.
10 Duke turnovers in the first half. Stith.
He still hasn't scored.
To have that good rhythm. And now we've got a whistle, and a technical foul has been called against Mike Krzyzewski by John Moreau.
And see, the Virginia fans thought they were the only ones upset.
The third technical that Mike has received this season. And Stith will go to the line to shoot him.
Well, Mike is still trying to get his money's worth. They're going to get that tee. You may as well get your money's worth.
First foul shot is good. And now the staring contest between Krzyzewski and Moreau is underway. Stith with the second shot missed that one.
Now, under the new rule change this year in the NCAA, Mike Krzyzewski's got one technical. If he gets another one in that same manner, he's gone.
Unsportsmanlike technicals, you can get only 2. And that rule pertains more to the coaches than it does the players. There are many other ways that you can commit a technical when you're in uniform. Here's Crotty. Dirk Castro, number 24, is checked in. Turner outside. Kenny with his 4th point, and Virginia takes it back up to 8.
7-0 run by Virginia.
Streaks and spurts. Lob in, intercepted by Turner.
Now see, Palmer's trying to throw that ball inside. He doesn't have as much experience or practice with it. Doesn't make a good pass, and we get it. I think Oliver stepped on the baseline.
8:01 remaining in the first half. 24-16 with Virginia on top of Duke.
Derek Johnson in the basketball game as John Crotty gets his first rest. It's ought to be an adventure for Derek Johnson, your first ACC game.
Doug Smith is the backup point guard, but he's been out with an injured foot. And so the freshman from Plainfield, New Jersey, Johnson into the game. Leitner, can't score a rebound. Here's Oliver. Stiff, driving, scoring, and a foul.
You're going to hold Bryant Stiff down just so long. This is a great catch by Stiff in the transition. Christian Leitner working hard, but look at the crowd that he draws. Blocked shot by Turner. Turner gets credit for the block. A great bounce pass. Stiff loses control right there. And just before Thomas Hill is able to slap at it, he's able to get it up on the board and draw the foul.
Stiff to the line, puts it in. And Virginia leads by 11 with 7:41 to play in the first half. We'll be back in a moment. First, this word from our good friends at Budweiser. Bob Rathman and Dan Bonner here in Charlottesville. Paul Cameron will be joining us at halftime. The Virginia Cavaliers leading Duke 27-16. And the early number is Duke has gotten 4 field goals, all from Christian Leitner. He's 4 for 7. The rest of the team 0 for 7. And Duke shooting 29% as a result. Here's a look at
what Virginia's been doing with those turnovers they get from Duke.
Left side. Here's Davis missing. The follow won't go for Thomas Hill. And Anthony Oliver claims the basketball.
That was a great defensive effort by Matt London. He got himself just close enough to the play to cause the miss without drawing the foul. An interesting point about Christian Leitner. Virginia is reacting so much when the ball goes inside to Leitner. He's got 4 guys around him. He might want to think about trying to kick it to somebody else and create an open situation. Virginia can't put 4 guys on Leitner and somebody else not be open. Not much offense on the court right at the moment for Virginia, Bob. An interesting lineup they have out there.
Oliver takes it in his hands to score on the baseline.
It's enough offense, though. That guy's got 13.
He had 17 against Duke here last year, and today he's done it on 6 of 8 floor shooting. 29-16. Leitner banged on his way to the bucket by Dirk Castro.
Now that's a perfect case in point. Leitner's going to go to the line, but watch Castro react over here as the ball goes inside to Leitner. Brian Davis is alone underneath the basket. Leitner catches. If he throws the ball right now, Davis is all alone for a layup. You can see Brian Davis just coming in at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, but Leitner's got to be aware of how much pressure is coming for him, and he might be able to get some easier shots for teammates.
Of course, on the flip side of that, when the ball does go to Leitner, generally he'll either score or get fouled. And the way he shoots foul shots, money in the bank, his 11th point of the game.
I think you got to get some other people involved in the basketball game, though,
no
Bob.
Question.
Because we talked about the fact that nobody else other than Leitner has a field goal, and if the ball's just going into Christian and every time he gets it, he shoots it, his teammates have a tendency to start standing around watching him.
A dozen for Leitner. Duke trailing by 11, 29-18, and they come with some pressure. Kenny Turner, though, does a nice job of recognizing it and getting it ahead to Brian Stiff.
It really helps to have London as a guy you can throw the ball to in the middle of the court.
Stiff offensive foul. He threw out the forearm and picks up his 2nd foul of the game. And that will be the 10th team foul against Virginia.
Grant Hill really doing a very good job. Of course, that's Brian Davis there. Davis gets it in there, and Davis put his hands on him to start with. Davis, a pretty good defensive player. Grant Hill has done a nice job on Stiff when he's been guarding him. tough for Stiff if they're going to run all those guys at him.
And again to Leitner, and he scores.
Again, he scored. He made the shot, tough shot. Grant Hill's all alone under the basket. He could have had a dunk.
Stiff inside to Parker, back to the basket. Turner outside, a three, short. Can he claim it in the corner? Yes, but into the hands of Christian Leitner.
It's a break for Duke. Thomas Hill didn't block him out.
Leitner for three.
Good rebound.
Cornell Parker, the freshman from Norfolk. Crotty barrels in and draws the foul.
Really have to make sure with John Crotty that you move your feet and get in front of him. He gets in that free throw line area and lowers that shoulder and heads to the basket. If you're in front of him and you go down, then that lowering of the shoulder is going to be a foul on Crotty every time. But if you're on the side when he lowers that shoulder, the foul's on you, as Hurley discovers.
The first foul on Bobby, fourth on Duke. And a couple of tosses here for John Crotty. John 2 for 2 at the line today, a 79% foul shooter this season. Scores his 7th point. The Virginia starting guards have scored 20 of the Cavaliers' 30. Virginia leading by 10. Eight points for John.
Virginia backs off on the pressure.
Let's see if Duke does here offensively. It has gone to Leitner about 5 straight times down the floor. This time, Thomas Hill to Grant Hill. And he's fouled by Kenny Turner. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Raycom Sports and Entertainment and JP Sports, and the use of this broadcast without the express permission of Raycom and JP Sports is prohibited.
The foul's actually called against Anthony Oliver, Bob, and for Virginia, the fouls are starting to pile up. Brian Stiff with 2 fouls is on the bench. Anthony Oliver now has 2. He's been the leading offensive threat for the Cavaliers with 13.
Hill missing the foul shot. And of course, Duke getting 2 free throws in every non-shooting situation the rest of the half. 11 team fouls on Virginia. Well, this team continues to live at the free throw line. Grant Hill can't cash in though. And Virginia with a basketball. Matt Blunden.
Don't often see Blunden handle the ball breaking up the court. Did a pretty good job though. 1-3-1 zone for Duke.
They'll trap out of this.
They will attempt to.
Turner. Oliver in the corner. One of the weak spots in a 1-3-1. And Parker the offensive rebound.
Oh, great hands by Duke. Parker made the mistake of dribbling it right in front of Hurley, and he took it away from him.
Ryan Davis to the... Turner! Oh, and they call a foul on Kenny Turner. Boy, it looked from our seats like he got all ball.
What a play by Kenny Turner. Duke running in transition. Davis taking it hard to the basket. Boy, that's a tough call. That's really a tough call. Well, he gets him right there. He gets him with the body. There's no question he bangs into his back from that angle. Much clearer view from our standpoint.
Davis getting his 3rd point of the game. Through it all, the Cavaliers are maintaining a 10-point lead at 31-21 and 4:57 left in the first half.
The fouls are piling up, though, Bob.
Yes, they are. And as you pointed out, Dan, this is not a very deep Virginia team. 4 points for Davis. Pressure by Duke. Cavaliers beat it with Oliver. Knocked away nicely by Thomas Hill. Here's Brian Davis in the middle to Hurley. Back to Davis. Offensive foul. Blunden takes the charge.
Very good transition defense once again by Matt Blunden. Duke running very well. Nice job by Davis to give it to Hurley. Hurley with the penetration. Blunden's got himself established. Davis runs him over. Davis thought he could get to the baseline. That's just a great defensive play by Blunden.
4:35 left in the half. 31-22. Virginia leading Duke.
Stiff is in the ball game with 2 personal fouls. He's got to be very, very careful.
John Crotty with the dish to Turner.
Are you kidding me? We've talked about the effect that penetration can have. Crotty is able to interior. The defense draws Hill, who's guarding Turner, but Leitner comes over very nicely. Turner hangs up in the air for a long time and scores. That's just great offense. There's no defense against that.
The senior from Indianapolis, Kenny Turner, has had 5 knee operations. And his knee's always a question point in terms of stability throughout the season, but what a season and what a game he's having. 7 points, 5 rebounds. As the Cavaliers take a 12-point lead, Dirk Catstrick has come in for UVA.
Now Jeff Jones, very smartly here, with Virginia building the lead back to 12, has Stith and Oliver, his 2 big offensive guns, sitting down.
Billy McCaffrey back in for Duke, and Grant Hill takes a seat.
Now, if you're the Duke Blue Devils and you look at the lineup that Virginia has on the court, you've got to figure that Virginia's going to get their offense from Crotty and from Turner. So maybe you want to try to put a little extra pressure on them. Make Castro or Blunden or Parker beat you.
Here's Crotty with the steal. Yeah, all the way.
Got to stop him, because Crotty really likes to take it to the basket. Doing a great job getting a body on Leitner.
Cavaliers by 14. Duke, a team averaging 95 points a game, has scored 22 in the first half. Castro open. Yes.
All the buttons Jeff Jones has pushed in this first half have been operational.
Charlottesville.
Parker gets called for a foul right there.
Second on Cornell. 2 free throws for Duke. Another Virginia 7-point run.
Duke on offense trying to get McCaffrey free for the jump shot. Real good screen inside. Cornell Parker, who you see right there, running over Thomas Hill, drawing the foul.
Dan, 12 of Duke's 22 points have come from the free throw line. And I believe your point about sharing the wealth and spreading things out is something that Mike Krzyzewski might address at halftime in the locker room.
Virginia doing a great job dropping down inside on Christian Leitner.
There was a problem with the clock. It kept running after the foul was called. And now Monty Wirtz and John Moreau have gone to the scores table to try to determine just exactly how much time is left. They will put 9 seconds back on the clock. And that now has been done. 3:04 left in the half.
You know, I don't know with the way his team has played in the first half that Mike Krzyzewski necessarily wants those 9 seconds right now. Get them organized at halftime, add them on to the second half.
That's right. The southpaw from Lancaster, Texas, Thomas Hill, 69% free throw shooter.
We talked a lot about Duke's tremendous size advantage, but if you look at that Duke lineup that's out there right now, not really the same kind of advantage. Davis, Hill, along the front line with Leitner. Virginia matches up very well in terms of size right now.
Of course, Thomas Hill 6'4", but boy, he can get up in the air. 2 free throws for Thomas, and a timeout on the floor. 3:04 remaining in the first half. 38-24 Virginia. minutes and 4 seconds left in the first half, with Virginia leading Duke by 38-24. But 40 minutes sometimes can be a long game, and Virginia has to be thinking about that second half with their bench as the fouls accumulate.
Well, there you can see bench scoring by Virginia in some of the games that they've played so far this year. And remember, Brian Stiff has 2 personal fouls. Anthony Oliver has 2 personal fouls. Jeffries has 3 personal fouls. To the credit of the Virginia bench, however, they've had 4 of the 38 points in the first half. Castro just hit a jump shot. Blunden has 2. Stiff back in the ballgame. Cornell Parker, not really a very good outside shooter. Duke would be wise to play off him and try to stack it back in the middle if they can. Parker, however, really moving well on offense. In the Virginia offensive scheme, Parker keeps moving. That makes it hard to get off him. Pretty good defense by Duke right there.
Turner open.
Can't leave him open. Virginia doing a great job executing on offense. Movement like that, running people off picks, gets folks open. Castro's back up. He's going to come in the ball game for Stiff, I'm sure, the next opportunity.
Thomas Hill, a 3-pointer. Later the offensive rebound around Blunden. Nope. Thomas Hill wiggles inside, and he sticks it in.
You can see Brian Stiff just trying to stay out of that scrap underneath the basket, not wanting to get that 3rd personal foul.
Big screen by Blunden. And the Blue Devils have a chance to whittle away at that Virginia advantage. 40-26 UVA. Leitner had Blunden on his hip. Missed the shot. Parker controlling.
Blunden doing a great job keeping Leitner away from the basket. Leitner caught the ball, but you'll notice when he catches it in there, Blunden doesn't let him get any closer.
Leitner knocks it out of Parker's hands, and Thomas Hill comes up with the ball now to Bobby Hurley. Ahead to Bill McCaffrey. Measures the 3, and I think Parker got a piece of that one. Inside, Leitner, no. Christian again goes up and a foul.
The last 2 times down the court, Matt Blunden has not been able to block Christian Leitner out. He's had a couple of offensive rebounds. Turner now picks up the foul, so that's 2 on Kenny Turner. Virginia just trying to get to the locker room at halftime without having their guys foul out of the game, I think. Leitner, 14 points, 5 rebounds. Just had a steal.
He's at 4 or 5 at the foul line this afternoon. I believe this one is for his 15th point.
One shot, everybody.
Leitner averaging in double figures points and rebounds. 19 boards, a career high in the loss here at Virginia last year. 16 for Christian. Duke pressure, and Crotty immediately in a double team. Gets it back to Blunden. Up to Castro. 1:10 remaining in the first half.
Duke stays in the man-to-man defense. Nice job by Davis helping out, forcing Crotty away from the basket. You can see Leitner playing way off Blunden. 15 on the shot clock.
Crotty to the corner, and Kenny Turner, 3-pointer short. Hurley the rebound. Duke is running. 3 on 2. Hurley left wing to Davis for the jam.
Nice job by Duke. They were way down in the basketball game, and they've clawed back to within 10. Shot clock off now. Virginia's got 25 seconds.
That's the game clock that you see. Lower right corner. Castro guarded by Davis.
Cavaliers would really like to get the last shot of the half. Duke doing a nice job with defensive pressure.
Parker triples in. Whistle. Foul. McCaffrey. And that will put Virginia in the 1-and-1.
Fouls on Bill McCaffrey, his first, number 5.
Duke doing a nice job in that particular situation, playing tough defense against Virginia, so the Cavaliers just don't stand out and hold the ball, let the clock run out, make them play. Corey Stewart, number 44, in the ball game for the Cavaliers. Turner out. Turner with 2 personal fouls. Jeff Jones not wanting him to pick up another foul in the last 11 seconds.
Cornell Parker, freshman from Maury High School in Norfolk, prepped at Fort Union under Fletcher Hurd for a year. Misses the front end. Leitner the flat-footed rebound, and with 8, 7, 6 seconds, Hurley's going to drive through, draws the foul. Smart play on Bobby Hurley's part.
Something Hurley has not done very much of in the first half, and that is penetrate. Crotty just stuck that arm out there and pushed him, and so that's now 2 fouls on John Crotty.
And 2 free throws for Hurley with 5 seconds remaining in the half.
What Jeff Jones would have liked to have seen is his team get the last shot of the half. Instead, Duke commits a foul. Jones Cavaliers miss the free throw, and then his point guard picks up foul number 2. Got to be careful now if you're John Crotty in the last 5 seconds here. Don't want to pick up a charging foul.
2 free throws for Hurley would have been 2 either way, shooting or non-shooting. Bobby hitting the foul shot.
That's right, that was a non-shooting foul, but of course Virginia has lots more than 10 fouls.
Oh, whole lots more. 15 first half fouls against Virginia. And Hurley hits them both.
Still 5 seconds left. Virginia really like to get a shot here.
London all the way down the court and into the seats, and that's the end of the first half. The Duke Blue Devils head to the locker room having scored the final 8 points of the first half, and Mike Krzyzewski's basketball team very much in this one now.
Bob, a very impressive 8-0 run by the Duke Blue Devils. They were down 16, and to be able to climb back within double figures at the end of the first half, particularly given Virginia's foul trouble, has to make Mike Krzyzewski feel a little bit better.
40-32 is our halftime score, and now we'd like to send things over to our halftime host, Mr. Paul Cameron.
Thanks very much, Bob. And so far this game, Virginia surprising Duke a little bit with the amount of play. In fact, Virginia has not allowed Duke to do what they do best, and that's score the points off the turnover and get the fast break key. Only in the last minute of the game, the first half, has the complexion changed just a little as Duke found themselves down by 16, suddenly down by 8 only at the break, and have to feel fairly fortunate, although Virginia in a lot of foul trouble for the second half to come. We've got more to come in our halftime show, our Pepsi ACC Best. We'll look at the stats and more coming up. Stay tuned.
Today's ACC action is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, Ford, Norwegian Cruise Line, Diet Pepsi, Food Lion, and by NC. Raycom Sports and Entertainment and JP Sports exclusive coverage of ACC basketball is brought to you by Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, Infinity, True Value Hardware, Gillette, and by Buick.
Stay tuned for the NCNB Players of the Game Award. NCNB will contribute $1,000 to the ACC to be distributed among the member institutions under a conference-approved plan. That's the NCNB Players of the Game to be awarded near the end of our broadcast. Let's take a look at the halftime numbers and our halftime statistics brought to you by U.S. Air. Duke shooting 27% from the field, but even more remarkable than that, Dan, is they had only 7 field goals in the first 20 minutes.
Well, of course, the 18 out of 21 from the free throw line, keeping Duke in the game. 14 turnovers for the Blue Devils. They're going to have to cut down on that number. Both these teams playing very effectively on the defensive end of the court, and when you have 2 good defensive teams, lots of times what's going to decide the game is the ease of the opportunities that you're getting. You see Duke's field goal percentage there, only 27. Virginia's higher than that at 43. Virginia has 16 points off fast break opportunities. Duke only has 5. So in the first half, Virginia getting the easier opportunities, and that's why they're ahead. It's hard to convert those 20-foot jumpers with somebody in your face. It's much easier to shoot a layup on the fast break, and Virginia was able to do that more in the first half than the Duke Blue Devils.
The Blue Devils, in losing at Georgetown earlier this season in the ACC Big East Challenge, shot 32% from the floor and nearly tied that game at the end of regulation. So being 8 down and shooting 27%, not the best of circumstances for the Blue Devils, but certainly something that they can overcome. Virginia, of course, has this big home crowd advantage, and Their big gun is yet to be heard from today. Brian Stiff with just 4 points as we begin the second half of action. Duke basketball, Bobby Hurley working against John Crotty. Now outside it goes to Christian Leitner, inside to Grant Hill, and just like that, Duke's on the board.
And you see what Duke did right there. They brought Leitner outside and had him feed inside. Virginia's defense obviously keyed to stopping Leitner on the inside in the first half. Good move by Mike Krzyzewski to bring Leitner out.
John Crotty driving, shooting, banking, and hitting.
The other thing is, if Leitner's going to be having the ball outside and passing it in, he's going to be passing it into Grant Hill, and Hill's matched up against Stiff. Stiff with 2 fouls.
Early back inside, quick tips go, and travel on Leitner, though, negates the play.
Again, Leitner gets the ball, the defense collapses. Watch when Leitner gets the ball, everybody comes to him. There goes the ball to Leitner. There's Oliver, there's Jeffries, there's Turner. They got 3 guys around Leitner. He walks. Stiff with the jumper, hits it. That's 2.
6 points for Bryant. Virginia leading by 10. Bryant 2 for 7 from the field in this game.
Crotty doing a nice job cutting down Hurley's penetration. Hurley just hasn't been able to get past Crotty to the basket.
Hurley looks inside. Now takes the 3 and missed it. Palmer battling Turner. Kenny claims the rebound, and Christian Leitner goes down to the heap. He's okay. At the other end, Anthony Oliver scores.
And again, off the fast break, in the transition, Anthony Oliver's got a wide open jump shot from the corner. Contrast that with the shot that Hurley just took, with John Crotty right on him in good defensive position.
Grant Hill feeding inside to Leitner. Puts it up and in.
Not really very much Turner can do. Substantially shorter than Leitner and with 2 personal fouls.
Stiff. Tipped and controlled by Crawford Palmer.
Foul on Stiff, that's number 3.
He joins Ted Jeffries with 3 personal fouls.
Grant Hill, very good move off the dribble. Stiff caught flat-footed, fouls with the body. 3 personal fouls on Brian Stiff.
Blue Devils trailing by 10. Bobby Hurley on Palmer at the high post. Jeffries hustling Leitner as he comes across the lane. Hurley driving in. Trying to force it to Leitner, and a bad pass results in a Duke turnover. Crotty ahead to Turner, and he puts it in.
Crotty really doing a nice job pushing the ball up the court. Duke had a 3-on-3 actually, in pretty good shape defensively, but Crotty with the attack enables Virginia to get the easy basket.
Thomas Hill spin move. Oh my, way off with it. And Jeffries the rebound. Grant Crotty attacking Oliver. Too long. Stiff controls it for UVA.
Boy, what good position by Brian Stiff.
Around the Turner screen. Jeffries picks up his 4th foul, shoving Palmer in the rebound action.
Virginia not really a strong outside shooting team. A couple of outside jumpers that time didn't go. Jeffries working hard, but picks up foul number 4. This has got to be hard for Blunden. There's no way that he can be in great basketball shape as you get a look at Jeffries sitting on the bench. Blunden played a lot of minutes in the first half, and he's going to have to go a long time in the second half, and you have to wonder whether fatigue will be a factor for Van Blunden.
Christian Leitner hits a 3-pointer. He's got 21 of Duke's 39, and the Cavaliers lead by 9. Stiff open for a moment. Nice move to the bucket, but left it just short. Foul of his own base.
Boy, how did he come down and get that basketball so quickly? I thought it was somebody other than Stiff. He was back up there so fast.
McCaffrey. Leitner wasn't looking for the pass, and Duke throws it away. He had already started his move to the bucket. Another Duke turnover. That is the the 17th today for the Blue Devils. Crotty rejected by Grant Hill.
Hurley was surprised that they threw the ball inbounds. Hurley's talking to his teammates, never sees Crotty with the ball. Crotty recognizes, penetrates by. That's just a very fine defensive play right there.
Kenny Turner faking, firing, and to back it high over Leitner. Turner to stick back.
Leitner didn't block him out. Turner shot the ball. Leitner went for the block. Turner actually got it on the second tip. Leitner standing on the baseline watching the play.
52-39 Virginia. Tipped away and stolen by the Cavs. John Crotty, great look away to Oliver. And Duke will disdain waiting for the TV timeout and take one of their own. The Cavaliers are running away. A timeout, Cavs by 15. We'll be back after this word from our good friends at Bud Light. .39 Virginia, and the Cavs on a 6-0 run.
Brian Stiff hasn't been real active offensively, but here a nice move, gets Hill off balance, he misses a shot. Look how quickly he sets himself and goes back up there. Brian Stiff, known as a great offensive rebounder. It's an incredible amount of physical talent. Get yourself stopped and back up so quickly. He's got 3 fouls, remember, though. There's still 15 minutes and 37 seconds left in this basketball game, and while Virginia has played very well to this point, that foul trouble looms on the horizon as a potential problem.
In again to Leitner. He jump passes it over now to Lang, and to the basket. He misses. The rebound to Turner. Long lead for Stiff. Can he get room? Yes.
Leitner didn't go for the first fake, but he went for the second one. Stiff suddenly in double figures.
Turner to steal. And a foul on Leitner.
Bob, that's now 5 turnovers in this half for the Duke Blue Devils. Gives them 19 for the basketball game, and we have yet to reach 25 minutes played. You just can't turn the ball over that much because Virginia's taking advantage of those turnovers. They're coming down the court and getting some easy opportunities. There you see 19-7.
Here's John Crotty. Feeding to Anthony Oliver. Cavaliers leading 56-39.
Stiff feels. Ooh, so
And a foul. And a blocking foul called on the Duke Blue Devils and Brian Davis.
London, not known for the quick step, with the fake, is able to get around. Nice move by Matt London.
The Blue Devils have been over 20 turnovers in a game 3 times this season, and they committed 26 in winning at Oklahoma.
Bob, the interesting thing about Duke, though, they force an average of 22 turnovers a game. So not only are they turning it over a lot, they are not forcing any turnovers. We talked about the Duke pressure and Virginia's ability to handle that pressure being a key to the ball game. Virginia has done it very well. They now have their biggest lead of the game as Blunden hits the first free throw.
And it's the second. 58-39 Virginia. So much of the Duke offense comes from.
Absolutely. There's no question about that. When you force 22 turnovers a game, that's a big part of your offense.
Out of the corner, short. And into the hands of Brian Stiff. He'll take the 3. Airballs it. But Virginia hangs on.
Bob, you make an interesting point. I remember talking to Nolan Richardson, the head coach at Arkansas, another team that thrives on that turnover, and he says, our game is to force the turnovers, and if we don't, then we're in trouble offensively, and Duke is the same way.
London out front, guarded by Leitner. 14-20 remaining in the game. And the Cavaliers sitting on a 19-point lead. And they can improve on that advantage. Turner, and a steal by Bill McCaffrey. Bill is going to go in, had it tipped away by Oliver, gets it back, and scores.
Just talking about taking turnovers and converting them into baskets. McCaffrey with a very, very good play.
58-41 Virginia. Whistle. It's against Turner of Virginia. And that's his third.
Turner with 3. Stiff with 3.
13:50 left in the second half.
Virginia has operated very effectively in the half-court offense. With screens, Turner that time got called for an illegal screen. But remember, a lot of Virginia's offense has been in the transition off the turnovers.
McCaffrey trying to get around the Lang screen. Now Hurley on the wing. Looking inside for Leitner and finds it. Max blunted in. Shoots over him and scores. 23 for Leitner. Duke trailing by 15. Off Stiff's hands, or is it? No, tipped away by Duke.
Virginia's perimeter defense has been very good, Bob. Not only have they limited the three-point shot opportunity, but they've cut down on the penetration.
Here's Brody. Back out. No, Black. Mats. Easy. He'll take the jump shot. Misses. Rebound to Lang.
Well, if you're Duke and you can force Matt Blunden to shoot that 15-foot jump shot, that's what your defense wants to do.
Early. Gives to McCaffrey. Had it blocked. Got it back. Missed it. Stiff the rebound.
That's good defense by Anthony Oliver. We're just talking about the perimeter defense by Virginia.
Turner stops it. Right back to 17. 60-43.
Duke just didn't get back on defense. Look at the crowd that Leitner's drawing inside.
Early misses. Lang up and off. Lang again. Puts it home. Oh, those long arms of 6'8" freshman Antonio Lang.
That's the kind of thing that penetration causes, Bob, though. Hurley's able to get to the baseline, and even though he misses the shot, the defense has to come to help. Nobody's available to block out Lang.
12:10 remaining. London with the hook.
So, Cliff Hagan hook shot from that around the hip, whirling it up there.
Teamed by Blunden and Stiff. Bounce across the lane, a dangerous pass, but Davis puts it in.
Nice job by Davis with a cut. Throws the ball to Leitner, gets himself open. Nice job.
Body. Low to Turner. Spins, fires, missed it.
That's good defense.
And here's London crashing into the seats. Duke basketball. Timeout on the floor. 11 minutes and 27 seconds left in this one. The Duke coaches plot strategy with Virginia leading by 15.
The 1991 Buick Regal sedan. It's going places. Regal features four-wheel disc brakes and an available 3800.
Stay tuned for the NCNB Players of the Game Award, brought to you by NCNB. Bob Rathman, Dan Bonner, Paul Cameron back at Charlottesville University Hall. And the Cavaliers leading 62-47 over the Duke Blue Devils. Jeff Jones, the head coach of the Cavaliers, guiding UVA to its best 10-game start for a first-year coach since Henry Lanigan back in 1905 and 06. Now, Terry Holland's first year, he was 5-5 in his first 10 games, but you got to remember, his co-captain was Dan Bonner. He was working with some disadvantages.
That's a terrible thing.
And despite that, Coach Holland went on to great success here at Virginia. The miss by Grant Hill, and he'll go to the line.
Bobby Hurley out of the basketball game. Grant Hill takes over at the point guard. Cornell Parker, an excellent defensive player, matched up against him, but Parker doesn't very often guard point guards. You can see Hurley sitting on the bench. What Hurley hadn't been able to do for the most part, Hill's able to accomplish, and that is get himself all the way to the basket on the penetration.
Grant has scored only 2 points in this game, and that was the basket that opened the second half. Here's that foul shot. Shooting 57% from the free throw line this year. Third straight year that a freshman has broken into the Duke starting lineup. And why not, with all the talent this young man possesses. 62-48. Duke now coming with the pressure. And they've got to make something happen here with 11:10 to play in the game. Trailing by 13, and Crotty saves it from a backcourt violation.
Nice job by Crotty. Not only did he save it, but you thought he was going to have to just take it and throw it back, but he was able to control it. Thomas Hill now matched up against Crotty.
Anthony Oliver. Loaded Turner. Blocked by Lang, and a foul on Lang.
Good offensive movement by Virginia. Duke playing very aggressively on defense, but that movement gets Turner open. And an excellent pass by Oliver. You see Turner turns to the basket. Hill is forced to come over and take him. Lang can't find his guy. So the screen that Turner sets out top and the roll to the basket is what gets him open, as there's some miscommunication between Lang and Hill as to who's supposed to guard Turner. Nice job.
At the line for 2, Kenny Turner.
Kenny Turner has scored 15 points this afternoon. And he's also gathered 8 rebounds.
He's really had himself a pretty good game.
He's having a
great
solid
year
season
for Virginia. Absolutely.
Coming off a career high 26 at Marquette on Wednesday. This is 2 free throws, but there's Blunden, and Kubek had him on the arm.
They pointed at Grant Hill, and Kubek is over there volunteering that he's the guy that got him.
And they're going to say Hill. And that will be his 3rd. But clearly Kubek got a nice piece of Blunden's arm.
And that's what you call being a team player.
Well, he's a co-captain.
When they call a foul on somebody else, you say, wait a minute, no, it's on me.
Take one for the team. Blunden, 2 for 2 at the line, 6 points today. Quarterback at the Sugar Bowl Tuesday night. On the basketball court Wednesday night at Marquette.
You get a big lead like this and they put you on the free throw line, you need to put the opposition away by making the free throws. Virginia's now missed 3 in a row. London breaks that streak. 14-point lead for the Cavaliers.
And 10:45 to play.
Virginia drops back. Looks like they're playing a boxing one on Hill.
Kubek, 3-pointer. No good.
That's exactly what Virginia's doing. They're playing a boxing one against Grant Hill.
Crotty. Some daylight. He puts it home.
The only person between Crotty and the basket was Castro, and he got out of the way.
65-49 Virginia.
Virginia obviously worried about Hill's penetration. If you look around, there's not many shooters in the lineup for Duke right now. This is an excellent coaching move by Jeff Jones.
Davis to the bucket, rolls it in.
Boy, he's had a nice game off the bench offensively for Mike Krzyzewski. All of his baskets have been those driving, slashing kind of baskets that really put pressure on the defense.
Ryan Hill with the tip away from Steph. Christian Laettner back in for Duke, and Lang goes out. Turner and Oliver inserted into the Virginia lineup for Blunden and for Castro and Parker. 9:45 left. Bobby Hurley also back in. Thomas Hill to the bench.
A rumpled-looking Bobby Hurley. His jersey half tucked in and half out.
Oliver, boy, Blunden took some punishment. Now across it comes to Stitt. Up, back.
That's a nice move.
He makes it look so easy. 67-51 Virginia.
Virginia back to the man-to-man.
Duke has been unable to put any kind of a sustained run on the Cavs here in the second half. Laettner puts it in.
It's one of the few times today that Laettner's been able to catch it and just glide to the basket. Virginia not able to get the help there.
Turner, Oliver, over Laettner. Yes!
Duke coming with the double team. Virginia reacting very well. You have to be impressed with the ball handling by the Virginia Cavaliers. They're just not throwing it away.
Anthony Oliver has scored 19 points. That's just 4 shy of his career high of 23 set against the Tar Heels last year. Grant Hill. Get over to Kubek.
Just standing around by Duke on offense.
gets the break. The bounce to Crotty. John puts it in. It's all Virginia. They're on their feet in Charlottesville.
Mike Krzyzewski's already called 2 timeouts. Bob only has 1 left.
71-53 Virginia. 8 minutes to go. Davis baseline. Leitner follows.
London zigged when he should have zagged down there. He had great position inside, but mistimed his leap.
And the Cavaliers have done it today with primarily 5.5 players. I mean, Jeffries hasn't played that much because of foul problems. Parker's made a cameo. Kirk Hammond's hit a shot. That's been about it. But with the results that they're getting, nobody's complaining in Charlottesville. Leitner for 3. Air ball.
That's a break for Duke. It's an air ball. It goes off the hands of Stiff, so Duke is going to keep the basketball.
A timeout on the floor with 7 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the second half. With the score, it's Virginia 71, Duke 55. We'll be right back. Virginia leading Duke 71-55. The inside war between Blunden and Leitner.
Blunden is doing a great job against Leitner. Leitner's got 27 points, but Blunden has still done a tremendous job against him. You can see Blunden working against him here, and the result of this is going to be turnover number 20 for Duke as Blunden cuts him off on the baseline and Oliver gets the steal, and there's Oliver again.
The 21st Duke turnover of the game. Cavaliers have shot 58% from the field here in the second half to keep the Blue Devils at arm's length. They've, in fact, doubled their advantage here. They were leading 8 at the half. Grant Hill with the tip away out of bounds. The Cavaliers now leading by 16.
Virginia getting John Crotty a rest. Matt Blunden has got to be exhausted. He's sitting on the bench as well.
I saw Jeff Jones in that last sideline chat, and I was thinking to myself, gee, Jeff, just 13 more of these to go in the ACC.
Well, you saw that picture of Terry Holland at the start of the game. He didn't get all that gray hair for nothing.
Ryan Stiff, now to Kenny Turner, over to Oliver. Anthony fakes. That
Great play by Leitner.
Christian with the block.
Oliver's fake got McCaffrey out of the way, but not Leitner. New 45 for Virginia.
Eric Johnson giving John Crotty a moment's rest on the bench, but John back at the scores table.
That's all Crotty gets.
Stiff.
That's like, I mean, what do you do with that guy?
15 for Bryant, his first 3-pointer today. 19-point Cavalier advantage. 6:10 left.
Oliver's doing a great job on McCaffrey out there.
Comes up with another steal. On the dish to Stiff for the lane. Duke timeout. It's a Cavalier blowout in Charlottesville. 5:50 remaining. Virginia 76 and Duke 55. We'll continue with more of our coverage of ACC basketball from Charlottesville right after this word from our good friends at Bud Light. The quick hands of Anthony Oliver on display here, coming up with his 5th steal of the game.
Oliver's done a tremendous job, not only with his defense on the perimeter, but that's what you want your guards to do. The guys inside get it, you slap it away. Now watch him run in the fast break here. The good stop forces McCaffrey to guard him, gets it to Stiff, still in the lane. Excellent fast break by Virginia. They continue to pile up the fast break points.
First half, Brian Stiff was 1 for 6 from the floor. Second half, 6 for 10. 76-55. Virginia leading Duke at 5:35 remaining. Cavaliers, again, you were mentioning the fast break points. They've got 30. Grant Hill's one. He's got 6 today, all in the second half. And now, a whistle stops play as the ball's knocked away.
Christian Leitner picks up the ball, runs down the court with it. John Moreau warning both benches now, so the next time anybody fiddles with the basketball, it'll be a delay of game technical.
I'm letting him announce it right now.
76-57.
Duke trying to set the pressure. Virginia's really attacking the pressure, and I do mean attack. They've gotten the ball down the court and gotten a lot of opportunities against Duke's pressure.
Attacking the Duke pressure really twofold. One, to beat it, and then to just continue to go to the bucket with the basketball.
Well, you have to continue to the bucket with the basketball. If you don't, then the pressure works.
Crotty, great feed. Now blocked by Latham, but he had to foul to do it.
Virginia operating so well on the offensive end of the court. John Crotty with the penetration. Here it comes. Beats McCaffrey, beats the triple team. Stiff going to the basket. Leitner makes a nice job coming over. But when you have to react that way defensively, you're subject to fouls. Referees don't like blocked shots.
Well, that's because most of them are short, and they got a lot of their shots blocked when they were playing.
Well, that very well could be. I never thought about that. Certainly short, but apply to Lenny works.
76-57 Virginia. And still spins it in. 20-point lead for Virginia. Bobby Hurley for three. Hits it. He's a 35% three-point shooter, and that's something Duke is going to have to think about here. Fire those threes. Regularity. Got Crotty right up in the middle team. Larry Rose spots the foul on Christian Latham. That would be his fourth.
Team foul number 6. Had all those fouls in the first half. They've only had 10 so far in the second half. Virginia by itself had 15 in the first half. New 45 for the Cavaliers. Want to run your offense here. Don't want to get too conservative.
Turner inside to Stiff off his hands. Duke basketball. Now Larry Rose says, I've got some better information. And Lenny Worth says, okay, the ball belongs to Virginia.
It's a nice job working together by the officials. That's why you have 3 officials, so you can cover the court and see all those plays. Official's got to call what he sees.
In the lane, Stiff blocked, foul, Thomas Hill.
You know, Virginia's been running that out-of-bounds play, lobbing it into Brian Stiff under the basket. Ever since Stiff has been in Virginia, they've won some big games in his career. Just with that play, you'd think that they wouldn't be able to run it anymore.
Brian Stiff to the free throw line.
That young man right there has done a whale of a job getting his team prepared for this basketball game. Virginia has done just everything right today.
78-60. 19 for Stiff and 6 rebounds. Second shot good. Dirk Katzler coming in and Stiff taking a seat.
Still more than 4 minutes left in the basketball game. Brian Stiff is going to need some more minutes. Jeff Jones getting him a blow.
Hurley blocked by Crotty.
One of the few times today Hurley's gotten around Crotty. Crotty with the karate chop block there knocks the ball out of bounds.
Lang and Davis return. Leitner and Hill, Thomas Hill go on the game. London coming back in for the Cavaliers. Well, this series has been played in streaks.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike Krzyzewski certainly hopes that he's not staring at 16 in a row.
And prior to that, Virginia had won 9 in a row. But I think some people in Durham are already circling the return date at Cameron Indoor Stadium on their schedule cards.
Foul on Katzler. That's only team foul number 5 against Virginia. So the Cavaliers that piled them up in the first half have been able to stay away from the fouls in the second.
Hurley.
This is great work on defense by Crotty. Just great work on defense by Crotty.
3:45 remaining. Cavaliers leading 8th-ranked Duke by 19.
Now Virginia going to try to run the offense.
John bumps and misses. Fights for the rebound. It belongs to Virginia.
Jeff Jones over there giving the officials some assistance. Brian Stiff back in the ball game as Castro goes out.
Anthony Oliver will be the trigger man here. The Cavaliers heading for their 7th consecutive victory and off on a winning note the ACC. John's short. Turner. And you were open.
Perfectly on.
Roddy, now for the kick. Here's Oliver into the lane, tipped away, picked up by McCaffrey. A 2-on-1 for Duke. Hurley is going to take it, dish it to Hurley. He'll throw it up behind his head, and Lang there to follow it in.
That's a great play by Kenny Turner to get back. Force the miss. Duke doing a nice job running in transition. They've got 4 guys down there able to get the tip.
London had it tipped away. And a foul called on Grant Hill of Duke. Trying to push London out of the way to get the ball. 4th foul on Grant. And a 1-and-1 coming from Matt London. 79-62 with Virginia leading Duke here. 2 minutes and 52 seconds remaining. Eric Johnson coming in. Jack Crotty going out.
Crotty saying, you want me to come out now? He'll be right back. Crotty's really sucking air over there. That's why he's coming out. Jeff Jones can see that.
London missing the front end.
Crotty with 16.7 assists.
And some great defense that doesn't show up in the box score. McCaffrey missing. Turner rebounds.
He misses with Oliver right in his face. Oliver and Crotty, both of them have had outstanding defensive games. There's time left in the ball game.
Oliver being guarded by Marty Clark of Duke.
Trying to work time off the clock now, run the clock down. Hopefully score at the end if you're Jeff Jones' team.
Oliver throws it up and off. Grant Hill controlling.
17-point lead, 2 minutes left to go in the basketball game. The fact that you run a lot of time off the clock is more important than making or missing.
Stiff with the rebound for UVA. This is the lowest point total for Duke this season. 8th rebound of the game for Stiff.
Bob, a lot of that has to do with the fact that they haven't been able to force the Virginia turnovers. They forced one there on a 5-second count.
Cavaliers leading by 17, and let's take a look at our Pizza Hut game summary. And there's the point you were making, Dan, about the transition game, and on the Virginia side, how many points they've been able to get off the break.
And Duke has not been able to force Virginia into turnovers. Virginia with 20 fouls and Duke with 20 free throws out of those fouls.
Our Duke-Virginia game summary sponsored by Pizza Hut. 79-62.
Those free throws were a much bigger factor in the first half, though, than the second half.
Clark driving and scoring.
He walked.
Nope, taken away. The freshman from Westchester, Illinois. 79-62, a long bus ride back to Durham. The Blue Devils 17 down here with 1:20 left.
And Virginia's going to just try to spread the court out now. Only a minute 15 left in the game.
London knocked away into the hands of Thomas Hill.
You don't want London dribbling the ball in your delay game, I don't think.
And Anthony Oliver picks the pocket of Thomas Hill and puts it in.
What a game he's had.
21 for Anthony Oliver, a season high, and his 6th steal.
Now he's barking at Thomas Hill.
Davis misses. Duke is playing with the stuff.
40 seconds, the shot clock's off. Virginia can just hold it. Don't want to do too much barking if you're Anthony Oliver. You still got to go back down to Durham.
Virginia Cavaliers.
Crowdy putting on a dribbling exhibition.
London holds it. Cavaliers will run out the clock. 7 seconds. 6. Oliver, top of the key as the crowd counts it down. Oliver at the buzzer misses, and the ball game is over. A most impressive victory for Jeff Jones and the Virginia Cavaliers. The final score in Charlottesville, Virginia 81 and Duke 64. We'll be back in a moment.
ACC basketball has been brought to you by US Air, Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, Central Fidelity, Bud Light, and by Buick.
Travel arranged through US Air with nearly 3,000 daily departures to over 170 cities, including London, Frankfurt, San Juan, Bermuda, and Nassau. US Air, America's most frequent flyer.
Welcome back to Charlottesville, Virginia over Duke 81-64. And our NCNB players of the game are for the Duke University Blue Devils, Christian Laettner with a